Earth it basically went full apocalyptic 10 years ago, all thanks to one useless, ugly middle school kid named Hoshimiya Eiji. Inspired by some edgy villain on TV, he made the dumbest wish ever to some random cosmic being he half-jokingly told he wanted to rule the world. And it actually happened. The world obeyed, triggering a global wipeout. So, if you were Eiji, what would you wish for? Comment below. The story begins where Eiji's sitting in class looking dead inside while his teacher's explaining why the world is currently running on 10% hope and 90% trauma. Apparently, the blame falls on people called orders, humans who got supernatural powers based on whatever wild wish they made. So yeah, society kinda hates them now. Can't blame them. Eiji, meanwhile, is dying inside because his one brainless wish from childhood turned the planet into a sandbox for chaos. Eiji walked out of the lesson mid-session, declaring he was done for the day. When he gets home, he found Daisy, the creepy cosmic wish granter from his past, and she casually informed him his memory was faulty. He hadn't actually wished for destruction, but for something entirely different, mockingly telling him to try again, then vanished without a trace. Next thing we know, Eiji wakes up in a hospital room visiting his little sister Cena, who's sweet, sick, and way too pure for this show. No one's even clear what disease she has, but it's anime, so vibes first, diagnosis later. They have a wholesome sibling moment. She says she wants to be with him forever. Nothing suspicious about that. Flash to the next day, Eiji's class gets a transfer student named Rin, and the second she walks in, Eiji's anaconda instantly activate. Like, sir, calm down. But okay, she's cute, fine. End of school, Eiji heads home, only to find Rin creepily tailing him. She played dumb, saying she accidentally lost her key and needed help. Luck? Hell no, Eiji, being a gentleman, or just simping hard. She whipped out a taser and fried his circuits. Moments later, this useless dude woke up with his arms tied like he'd auditioned for a Saw sequel. And Rin revealed the truth. Keys were never the point. This was revenge against Eiji. So right when Rin's about to turn Eiji into a permanent nap, she accidentally triggers his god-hidden powers. Eiji ends up controlling her instead. But before he even has time to question and do anything, a whole gang of edgy anime NPCs show up. Turns out, they're also orders, and were just testing him like this was some weird job interview. And plot twist, they want him to be their leader. Because apparently world domination is now a group project, and if Eiji refuses, they'll straight up snitch and tell everyone he's the real reason the world got yeeted a decade ago. So yeah, he gets forced into being evil, CEO of Destruction Group. Next day, this guy Hiragi and his squad of bootleg Avengers drag Eiji into a war room to plan conquest. But the grand plan, however, turned out to be nothing more than sending Eiji into battle alone. Eiji protested, pointing out he was just a student, but nobody cares. So, of course, he ends up going anyway, completely over it. Fast forward to mission day. Eiji, Rin, and some soldiers are sneaking into enemy territory when the ceiling collapses like it heard the budget ran out. Eiji pulls a clutch move and uses his powers to hold it up, but the soldiers? They dip. No hesitation, just abandoned. Honestly, they've been hating on Eiji since day one, so not surprising. Then enter Io, a girl with future sight who just casually appears like she owns the place. She guides them through the rubble like a mystical ways, and they all survive. But Eiji's ADHD kicks in and he gets distracted by the cute ribbon on her head. He tries to touch it. Io dodges like her life depends on it, and it kind of does. She explained that if anyone touched her ribbon, she would instantly become pregnant faster than NASA's Wi-Fi. Her spiritual womb power was literally stored within it. Eiji reacted with disbelief, questioning what kind of absurd magical biology this was supposed to be. Meanwhile, Rin's off to the side, jealous and unhinged, summoning a whole golem just to third-wheel block the romantic vibes. Eiji tries to control the golem, but turns out his powers don't work on non-living things. So now they're just running for their lives, like they forgot this was his mission. In the chaos, Io twists her ankle, because of course she does. Eiji, trying to be Mr. Hero, goes to carry her, but accidentally grabs the ribbon. And boom, instant pregnancy. Anime logic has left the chat. Luckily, the crumbling building gives them an accidental escape route and they all get out. But now, Io is suddenly glowing with magical baby vibes, and Eiji's freaking out like a guy who just failed biology and sex ed at the same time. He tries calling base, but no answer. So, like any panicked anime boy, he drags her to the nearest hospital, then runs up a mountain to find signal. Because yeah, apparently this dude can command reality, but can't get a single bar of 5G. While Rin was off doing her own thing, probably still mad about her past with Eiji, she ended up getting approached by some order member named Kagekyo, the same weirdo controlling that giant golem from earlier. She came in all dramatic, suggesting they team up because her mission was to take Eiji out too. Apparently, the government was so done with Eiji's main character energy that they straight up decided to nuke his entire location. And honestly, that lined up perfectly with Rin's goals. Wiping Eiji off the map had been on her to-do list for a while, but for some reason, maybe instinct, maybe trauma, who knows, she turned the offer down. That's when Eiji finally managed to contact her. He told her flat out that Kagekyo was a government agent sent to confirm his location, and he wanted her to handle it. But at that point, it was already too late. Kagekyo had already reported back, and the missile had already been launched. Rin tried to fight, but she was clearly outmatched. Kagekyo didn't waste time. She used some kind of petrification ability to lock her body from the feet all the way to the neck. She was completely frozen, couldn't even move a pinky, let alone fight back. Meanwhile, Eiji figured out what was happening and ran back to the hospital to save Io. But, plot twist, Kagekyo showed up again, teleporting around like it was nothing. And as if that wasn't enough, she decided to turn the entire neighborhood against Eiji. Told everyone he was the one behind all the chaos, and somehow they believed her. Yeah, Eiji went from protagonist to public enemy #1 in 5 seconds. People started throwing rocks at him like he was a medieval war criminal. Even the nurse who'd been helping him this whole time decided to stab him. With an actual weapon, everyone thought he was dead. And honestly, he looked the part. But Eiji wasn't going down like that. As soon as the crowd let their guard down, he activated his control power and flipped the entire situation. He made everyone, even the angry villagers, work together and help him escape the incoming nuke. Since Kagekyo was under control now, that meant the golem was too. So Eiji hopped on it and pulled the most anime move ever. He tried to manipulate gravity to stop the missile, and it almost worked. But his power just wasn't enough. Right as everything was about to go boom, 2 members from Hiragi's team showed up out of nowhere and completely obliterated the missile in one hit. Just casual nuke destruction, no big deal. Unfortunately, the government had already planned for that, so missile #2 was already flying in. And this time, something changed. Kagekyo, who'd been watching all of this unfold, actually started to feel something. Seeing Eiji risking his life for people who literally tried to kill him, it hit different. For the first time, she stopped being a pawn and chose to help. So with Kagekyo and Eiji finally working together, plus support from Hiragi's crew, they somehow pulled off the impossible. Missile #2 has been neutralized. Everyone survived, no apocalypse today. After that whole mess, Eiji's little sister, who'd been unconscious forever, finally woke up. But of course, the happy moment came with a slap of reality. Doctors ran some tests and said her condition had gotten worse, like terminal level worse. 6 months left, max. Hiragi mentioned that there was a healer order with power strong enough to cure anything, but naturally, the guy was deep in enemy territory, and Eiji didn't even hesitate. Saving his sister was all that mattered now. So basically, Eiji and Rin made it to enemy territory, but they had no clue where the order was hiding. Instead of focusing on the mission, Rin thought it was the perfect moment to turn it into a cute little date. They spent so much time together that the day just flew by. By the time they were standing in line for snacks, some ugly NPC randomly pulled up and whispered sweet nothings into Rin's ear, talking about revenge, freedom, and breaking Eiji's curse like it was a limited time offer. Apparently, that was enough to flip a switch in her head because the next thing anyone knew, Rin started attacking Eiji. Just like that. The stranger didn't even flinch. Dude just watched the drama unfold like it was Netflix series. Eiji tried to talk her down, obviously. But Rin had headphones on, noise canceling the man's entire existence. No commands, no reasoning, just vibes. Unfortunately, when your girl has military training and you're out here fighting with nothing but feelings, it doesn't end well. She landed a brutal hit on him and things were not looking good. That's when Hiragi and Io popped in. Io finally got her powers back, so they were ready to throw down. Or so they thought. Because Rin, still clapping cheeks left and right, She bodied both of them like it was light work. Luckily, Eiji spotted an opening and went after the person controlling Rin, and plot twist, that person was also being controlled. Then Hiragi pulled up with his ultimate healer energy, healed everyone, and wiped out the mystery stranger. Rin and her new buddy escaped. But out of nowhere, Daisy materialized like a walking spoiler alert and dropped a bomb. The one pulling all the strings was none other than Eiji's dad, Geni. Turns out he's alive and being extra dramatic. Daisy also mentioned that Rin was heading to the same place as one of the most powerful healing orders. So the next day, Eiji set off with Io to find them. They reached the mouth of a cave, all ready to go in, when the ceiling decided to collapse. Casual. Luckily, Io's future-sensing powers kicked in, and they dodged it. But, of course, the ground gave out right after, and Io fell into the water. Eiji dived in and saved her like the bare minimum hero he is. Later, while warming up by a fire, things got a little awkward. He tried to start a convo, but of all topics, he brought up Rin. Io, who was clearly crushing hard, got fed up. She just went full, "I like you, dummy," and started undressing to make her point crystal clear. But before Eiji could even respond, a new group showed up, led by the one girl he'd been looking for, Kuroko. Kuroko, clearly moved by Io's boldness, offered to help. But there was a catch. Eiji had to beat her in a ball-stealing game. Sounded easy until Kuroko started moving like she was built on cheat codes. Even Io's psychic assist wasn't enough to keep up with her speed. Eiji ran out of breath and had to tap out. That's when Io came in clutch, encouraging him with a full-on love-powered pep talk. Guess it worked, because Eiji finally gave in to his feelings and accepted her love. They jumped back into the game with a new strat. Io would use hand signals to pass her predictions faster. It worked like a charm. Eiji snagged the ball and secured the win. But just as Kuroko was about to fulfill her promise, the water started rising. One of Genai's goons showed up out of nowhere and tried to drown them all using some cursed waterbending powers. Eiji used his ability at the last second to save them. Kuroko then suggested they merge powers, Eiji and Io, and that's when their combo mode unlocked a whole new ability. They could now predict incoming attacks instantly. With this new power-up, they took the guy down. But hold up, it wasn't over. The enemy called in a long-distance teammate, and we're back with Rin and the rest of Genei's gang. One of them stepped up and used some wild dimensional sword skill that just straight up wiped out Kuroko and another guy on sight. Eiji rushed back to the base and begged Hiragi to heal Kuroko, but she'd already been gone too long, nothing could bring her back. Eiji, completely done with everything, stormed out, furious and probably ready to burn the whole world down. So Hiragi hears all this mess and he is not letting that slide. He starts dropping lore, talking about how he and Genei used to be lab buddies. They were working on this wild project, trying to build a device that could grant any human wish. And yeah, at first things were chill. The science was sciencing, but then one day, Genei just flipped the switch. Turns out he was the one who created Daisy, and that's where the world started spiraling into disaster. Meanwhile, one of Genei's people tries to sneak in and kidnap Cena. Hiragi catches wind of it and sends in the squad to shut it down, thinking it's just a random ambush. But plot twist, it was all a distraction. The real kidnapper is Fran. Apparently, he's been working with the ops this whole time. So now, Cena's gone, taken to some fancy cruise ship like it's a vacation. But Cena's acting way too happy for someone who just got kidnapped. Girl's out here walking like she never needed that wheelchair. Then out of nowhere, she calls in the press and goes live like she's hosting her own talk show. She says her brother ain't guilty and say that Geni is the real villain behind the world ending 10 years ago. And that was exactly what Geni wanted. Man was playing 4D chess. He let her spill all that tea just so he could hijack the broadcast and twist the whole thing into a lie. So instead of clearing her brother's name, Cena ends up making Eiji look like public enemy number one. Eiji sees the mess unfolding on live TV and immediately pulls up to the cruise ship with backup from Hiragi's squad and even that former enemy who's now under control. They break in and find Genei literally holding Cena. But before they can do anything, Genei's bodyguards pop out and start throwing hands. Eiji gets bodied, bad, like hospital-grade injuries. Fast forward a bit, and AG wakes up handcuffed like he's starring in a cop drama. Io's there and tells him Hiragi patched him up, but the rest of the crew already left to fight Gene and save Cena. As for AG, he's been benched, and Io's job is keep him from jumping back into the fight by any means necessary. And when I say any means, yeah, Girl straight up tries to awaken the anaconda, but AG's not having it. Wrong time, wrong place. So Io backs off, respects his feelings, and gives him something even more valuable, a photo of his family. Turns out, his memories were all tampered with. Same goes for Cena. On the other side, Gene drags Cena to some weird gate, and the second she sees it, her memories come rushing back. Plot twist. AG wasn't the one who ended the world, it was Cena. She made the wish to Daisy. She caused the chaos. Back with AG and Io, they sneak into Hiragi's base to catch up. AG goes solo though, because family drama's about to go nuclear. He eventually reaches Gene, who finally reveals his master plan. He wants to create a perfect world where every single wish can come true. And of course, he wants AG to join him. But AG's like, nah, reality might suck, but at least it's real. So he makes a run for Cena, trying to save her, but instead, she stabs him. Turns out she's Team Gene now, wants that fake happy world. Then she goes full anime mode and slices him so hard he's yeeted off the platform. Lucky for him, Rin shows up just in time and drags him out of his emo phase, gives him a lil pep talk, and AG's back. They power up together, just like he did with Io before, and confront Gene for the final showdown. This time, Gene gets humbled. Cena finally realizes she's been manipulated and lets go of the whole fake world dream. Cut to the aftermath, the truth's out. Gene's name is officially dirt. Everyone knows he was the one who destroyed the world. And as for AG and Cena, they're just victims trying to piece their lives back together. Thanks for watching. This is Dem Recaps. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.